Can we just talk about AI for a second? Half of the online coaches are pretending they built a robot empire. Half have used ChatGPT to create a caption and think they are some sort of god. Neither of those is real life. I run a coaching business that does about 40 grand a month, and I use AI in my business a lot. And I'm going to tell you exactly how, because I think the myth about AI and how it is being used has been completely over-exaggerated and is useless. I run a coaching business that does about 40 grand a month. I use AI in my business every single day, but I think the way that AI is being peddled and pushed is a complete myth. I think what you've been told about coaching and AI is over-exaggerated or being used in the wrong way. And here's one thing that no one is saying out loud. AI on its own, without you, the brain or anything within it, is absolutely average. Like, it's useless. It's generic. It gives the same surface level stuff, the same surface level answers. It gives the same response as the other 7 billion people on the planet if you do not know how to use it and use it properly. The reason that I know how to use it, the reason it's working well for my business at the moment, is I know what to feed it. I have hours and hours and hours of content to feed it, to give it, and lots of prompts and instructions that work really well for me. You can't use AI unless you know what to tell AI. The more you give it, the better it gets. So you can't use AI if you don't know what you are doing in the first place. This isn't a tools list. I'm going to tell you about 12 apps. I'll give you 15 different prompts to plug in and hope that it works. AI makes a lot of my business feel faster and sharper. Here are 4 use cases. Not all sexy, not all super exciting, but real life. So AI is not the coach, full stop. AI won't be, certainly not for a long time. That is still down to me. The conversations, bits that clients need, the feedback, the hard chats, the you're avoiding this or that's not quite right, all comes from me, all comes from the human. If you think you can automate that, then you don't understand coaching. The human-to-human element is never going to go away. What the AI does, though, is help with some of the heavy lifting, the thinking work, the prep, the presentations, the bits that used to take an hour now only take 10 minutes. The only way I can describe it is imagine having an assistant that never argued, didn't need holidays, didn't need PAYE, and was always on call 24/7. What it is a tool that sits quietly behind you that you can plug into at any point to help speed up some of those thoughts and processes that build your business. There's been so many times that I'm sat there thinking, oh, that's a good idea. Let me run that through the AI. Let me dictate into it. Let me add some of the tools and frameworks and the conversations that I've had this week, and let's see if it's got a better idea for me. Or let's say I want to create a presentation or a document for somebody really quickly that puts out all of my key points and ideas and sends them that look great. AI will do that for me. I use it as an assistant in this case. But that only works if it knows your tone of voice. That only works if it knows your brand values. That only works if it knows a lot about you, your business, and what you are trying to do. If it is empty and you are just asking AI to create your coaching business from nothing without you knowing anything in the first place, it will be flat and dull. I have ideas all the time. Ideas for new videos, ideas for new offers, ideas and blurb where I just speak out and sometimes it doesn't entirely make sense. Ways of building businesses that I've seen from multiple angles, but I wanted to put into one streamlined process. The old version is I would probably pull loads of items together, start trying to build it out, get halfway through, push it out a little bit, it'd be really average and poor and never quite finish it. A lot of the time, a lot of my ideas and probably the way that I'm made up is I'd never quite get it over the line, the product, what I wanted to build, the video that I wanted to do. Before I film anything, for example, I run my script and my blurb through AI. What would a skeptical business owner think of this? I've got this idea, please read through some of the transcripts, but what would somebody else think of this? Do some research for me. It's got so much data behind it. It's got so much resource to rely on that when I ask it a question and to ask it to do a little bit more research or refine something, it knows exactly what it's looking for. So in this example, what would a skeptical business owner think of this when I'm creating a new video? It's working because I'm not just saying, is this a good idea? I'm feeding it context. It knows who my audience is. It knows what stage they're at, what objections they might have to overcome. You can't do it if you don't know your market. So AI has no chance. That alone has helped me save hours on filming content and course ideas that would be no use to anyone. The second way that I use AI is I spot patterns across client calls that I would have otherwise missed. Every coach and client that I speak to is wildly different, both personally and then within their business. But there are underlying themes and struggles and problems that each client comes across. They have the same lack of belief. They have the same system issue. They have the same lack of knowledge when it comes to ads. They have the same lack of knowledge when it comes to funnels, or have the same lack of knowledge when it comes to sales calls at the back end. I used to scribble everything down on yellow pads like this, and then the notes would get lost. I would forget naturally because hours and hours of conversation, I don't remember every part, and I wouldn't be able to help each specific problem. Now I record every call. The transcript is then put into my Google Drive. The Google Drive is then linked into my AI, and I can pull out the common problems that people are having. From there, I can build a knowledge base of what we need to build within our coaching business. Then I know exactly what we need to do in Launch Ready to help these people. And like I say, at each layer and each phase of the build process within Launch Ready, people are having the same problem. I can overcome objections within sales calls before they even come up because I know how common they are. I can create content and emails and marketing ideas based on the calls that I've had that week and the objections and the problems that we've had that have come across. And the reason that AI can spot those patterns, because I've given the AI enough context and enough framework around what I do, that can pull out from those transcripts in no time, and it can give me a clear idea of what I want to do building my business and help people at the other end of those calls or the other end of the group coaching calls. Everything I do now, AI knows probably before I do what I want to get out of it back end. That's because I've fed it lots of details. So I'm now not just asking it to review a bunch of phone calls, I'm asking it to review the notes based on what I'm trying to create and based on what I want the outcome to be. The feedback that you give it and what you have got inside of it makes it work. I recently got AI to say, what is the most common coaching problem that we are having at the moment? And to be honest, it isn't even then a practical thing where I thought it would always be the meta ads. It is a belief problem. People don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can do what they're doing. They have 25 years experience, but they don't believe they can be an online coach. They are making excuses to stop coaching. So I didn't even think that. From even all the calls, I sort of had a gut feel what it might be, but it wasn't exactly what came out. What was the most common problem that came out of these calls? AI has helped me do that and pull that out for me. And the third way I make AI work for me in 2026 is I make my coaching questions harder before I use them. This is one that I haven't heard much or people use very often or hasn't been a carousel on short form. Before a group session, which I have every Thursday for Launch Ready, I run this prompt through AI. You're a skeptical, experienced coach that's heard it all before. Where are these questions too soft? What's the version that actually forces someone to say the uncomfortable thing out loud? What comes back is a sharper, harder version of my own material. But if you notice here, and this is probably a good theme for the whole video, I'm not asking AI to write me the questions or write me the presentation. I'm giving AI the questions built on my experience and giving it context from all of my previous experience and all my previous conversations and asking it to stress test them to make it more valuable for the clients within the group course. The starting point is always mine. AI just pressure tests it and sometimes makes it better. The sessions I run are then, I hope, are noticeably better because the points are sharper and not as broad. I'm still the one in the room delivering it. I'm still giving the human aspect. AI is sharpening the sword. Number 4 is fast background research when the client brings me something new or different. Very regularly, clients come to me with niches that I haven't worked with directly or don't have a huge amount of experience in. As I said, the Launch Ready framework works for any business, but it is the framework that we plug everything into. And sometimes I just don't necessarily know everything about the niche. How would I? Of course, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know everybody's niche, especially people that have worked in somewhere for 25 years or more. The patterns are always the same. They need a clear offer and they need a good funnel and they need some good meta ads that speak to people and they need to work out what the pain point and the outcome is for the person at the other side. But before I sit on the sessions and before I speak to people for the first time, I will go through their websites and their business details they've given me already and ask AI to summarize what their key points of their business is. I'll ask it what is happening in that business sector at this moment. So for example, I looked into a health and wellness course that somebody is creating as part of the Launch Ready Done For You program. And I wanted to know what was happening in the sector. There were lots of people that were low paid, trading their time for money, as in just an hourly rate, and other people that are working in bigger companies that were being laid off because they weren't upskilling themselves or having enough value in it. What we want to do then from that research is create a product where we can help people go into corporate businesses and charge a lot more money for their time, improve the mental health or the wellness sector within each business, but become an expert in that. Sadie from Snowball is creating that course and business. That has come from ideation and research done through AI. Because I've gone into research and saved myself hours of scrolling through Google, the conversation when we get on the Zoom calls are a lot more specific. They're a lot deeper, and we can get to the point on how we're going to help the coaching business and create the offer in a shorter space of time. It's a speed and time thing, and then fundamentally the quality and the output becomes a lot better. And as the theme is, I'm not learning to coach from AI. I'm filling in the specific content about each coaching niche. AI gives me the details, I bring the framework, as always. What I will never use AI for, I don't use AI to make decisions. It gives me context. It shows me angles, but I make the calls. I don't use it in the room. So I'm not using AI to prompt my way through a presentation or prompt my way through a call with a client. I don't use it to build my frameworks. Everything I teach in Launch Ready came from me doing it myself with Inside's Property Academy. Getting it wrong, doing it again, working out the model that works. A lot of the information that I gather is by speaking to humans, because fundamentally the human problem is what we solve, and that is what people will pay us for. I don't get it just to write content and post it. AI post is obvious from a mile away. Every single person these days can see the AI. The more human you can add into things these days helps, because people can see AI from a mile off. So that's it. 4 simple concepts that I use AI for to help me speed up and add quality into my business. I can kill bad ideas before I even start. I can spot patterns across my clients' work faster. I can sharpen my coaching questions and my coaching presentation before I start. I can get up to speed with each and every one of my clients' niche in a shorter space of time than if I was just scrolling through Google. It's not groundbreaking. It's not completely replacing every human being that's ever walked the planet. It's just quiet, practical ways to do a better job. And as I think you know by now, AI is only as good as the information you feed it. So you have to put in the time and effort to know what to feed it. The time and effort it takes to upskill yourself has to go into AI. And if you are a coach, consultant, or just a passionate business person, and you've hit your ceiling, your diary is full, you cannot earn any more money, and you need some help in how to raise that ceiling, contact us at Launch Ready. Click on the link below, book a call with us, and we will help you with your coaching offer, not with AI, but with a proper system built around your knowledge.